family farming in general is a challenge, and that's why we've seen over the last 30 or 40 years so many family farms go out of business, and the landscape of our food system and our physical landscape has changed dramatically, where there's just a lack of small family farms. And now we're kind of entering this phase where we're seeing a resurgence and a lot of youth returning to the farm and a lot of interest in local agriculture, which is exciting and excellent, but at the same time it's still the same challenges are faced. There's still extreme amounts of work, ridiculous hours sometimes, that you really dedicated your whole life to that job. There's no off days when you have animals on the farm that need to be fed every day. There's no easy vacations if you're in the market season and there's vegetables to be picked every day of the summer. So there's financial difficulties, obviously, with the high input costs of farming sustainably. There's a lot of regulations that are written for large food producers and large companies and large farms that are being applied to really small farms and make it very difficult for farmers to be able to get their food safely and effectively to consumers. There's a lot of hurdles we have to go through just in order to process our food in any way, whether it's juicing food or canning food or preserving food that's semi-processed food, and then we're in a whole other realm of regulation to get the whole value-added side of the farm going, which is essentially one of the most sustainable pieces of the farm, to be able to have product year-round. So there's immense challenges, but at the same time there's immense hope and immense possibility that you see from the customer base, from the youth, from just the excitement and the energy around local food, that we just try to focus on the positive sides of the farming life and just keep pushing our message and keep living by our values. Essentially, it comes down to, what do you value? What are you going to dedicate your life and your time to? And we thought farming and providing healthy food for the community is what we want to do.
Growing amazing food and eating that food, I think that's one of the most amazing benefits of being a farmer. I love looking at my daughter and just purple all around because she loves beets. So I think those are amazing things. Those are amazing things. There was that moment in our lives we became cuckoo. So I came from a business background, Marcos comes from an engineer background, and we're doing this. And I think those are your values as a human.
One friend of mine has become a friend that used to come to the farmer's market all the time, and he'd always get these bunches of our Harkuri turnips. This is a white salad Japanese turnip. And he started telling me, my dad's going through chemotherapy right now, and he just can't hold any food down, but for some reason these turnips, he loves them. They bring him so much happiness, and it's the only thing he can eat and he enjoys right now. And so that summer, every single Saturday he was there. As soon as I see him, I'd reach for the turnips. And it was just always my favorite sale of the week was knowing that those turnips are going to go to that purpose. And then one week he came and he just came to the market and kind of shook his head we don't need the turnips anymore. And Ken and I were both there, both of us started crying at the market. We never even met this guy, but that's how connected we were just through a simple thing as turnips. And he still comes back to the market a lot and visits, and we just become friends just through that connection of food. I think that's one of the most powerful examples of what it means to be a farmer and to provide for a community in that way.
I come from a culture that food brings family together. So in this case, the farm is bringing the community together, the families together. We have a lot of cooking demos, so people is here trying to learn. I think we are in that moment where people is kind of trying to go into the other side and stop buying frozen things. I want to cook for my family. I mean, I grew up like that, people always together around food. And I think it's something amazing that we are doing in the farm, because you are building that part of the family, that part of the value of the community. So food can bring people together.
It's one of the things that we realize, that as disconnected as our food chain has become, and the same ways a lot of our culture has become kind of disconnected in the same way, where we often don't know our neighbors and we don't know the people down the street, and we're all kind of living our own busy lives, our own jobs and TVs, and we kind of lost this sense of identity and the sense of cultural in America. And that's one of the awesome things I see about the local food movement is it's kind of providing a platform of a kind of new culture that's kind of taking off, and this really being able to relate to what's growing around you and being able to relate to your neighbors, and sustainable culture that was the basis of America that we've kind of so lost on this kind of global economy where we're so reliant on what's happening in foreign markets and what's happening in the stock exchange. What if we were just relying on what's happening in our own neighborhood? And I think the food movement is kind of leading that conversation, and a lot of people are on board with that, and it's branching into a lot of bigger pictures for a lot of people. It's not just about food anymore. It's about how do we build our school systems, how do we build our local economies, how do we build our justice system. It's kind of a beautiful path, and one of the reasons our farm branches into so many of these nonprofits around the community, that there's just a huge need for this community building and cultural building within Boulder County and Colorado.
It's good to think about you, but we are a whole community. So it doesn't matter what you are, you need to try to see for your community in whatever aspect, education, music, art. In our case, it's food. So try to build community through food. I think that's amazing. Another thing is, I always say this, that all people used to say, oh, we need to leave a better world for our kids. But you know what? We need to leave better humans for our world.
So I grew up on the farm, but never realized I was going to become a farmer, and really never realized how much of an impact it was going to have on me, not only as a family member, but also in the spiritual journey in my life. And I had a chance early on to travel to a lot of places and study different religions and really study a lot of things. And I think the farm has helped me kind of bring my attention back in and focus, and I kind of realized how much there is to learn just from a small place, and how the farm has kind of helped me ground myself. And I was always kind of a wandering mind, and I was off in a million different directions. But now at this point in my life where I'm really focused on not just a piece of dirt, but a place and a community that evolves around that, and it brings me enormous amounts of happiness. I love being a farmer, and I love the place I live in.